I think leading a family-founded business has its own nuances and complexities. I used to really feel the need to qualify, like nothing was given to me. I worked the entire time for this, and if anyone thinks I was given like a Ferrari or like a Maserati of a business and just drove off into the sunset and started like leading it and it's glamorous, that is absolutely not the case. As much as there had been a really great foundation built, I've rebuilt the company from the inside out.
Welcome to the Prosperity Playground, the podcast where business meets energetics, strategy meets soul, and prosperity becomes inevitable. I'm your host, Anna Lozano, mom, founder, investor, mentor, and energetics in business expert. This is your weekly activation to rewire how you think and feel about wealth, success, and personal power, because it's not about working harder, it's about regulating deeper, aligning stronger, and receiving wider. You don't hustle for your future, you calibrate to your higher self. Join me weekly for high-level conversations with the world's most inspiring entrepreneurs, creators, and thought leaders. True prosperity isn't just about money. It's about alignment, freedom, expansion, and embodying your worth. Welcome to the playground. Let's build your most prosperous life. Welcome back to the Prosperity Playground podcast. Today's guest is Alexandra, also known as Ali Mamalider, who is the second generation founder and president of Organic Traditions, Canada's leading superfoods brand, known for making ancient nutrition simple, modern, and delicious. If you haven't tried yet their matcha powder, oh my goodness, it's what converted me into a matcha drinker. Since taking over the family business in 2017, Ali has transformed the brand through bold innovation, rebranding, and expansion across North America. Today, Organic Traditions offers over 100 superfoods from matcha to mushroom coffee, empowering everyday wellness seekers with clean, functional nutrition that actually works. Inside this episode, we dive into how Ali stepped into a 25-year-old family business, battled imposter syndrome, and rebuilt the brand into a future-forward superfood brand. Strategic moves behind sustainable CPG growth, and of course, motherhood, leadership, and building a brand that lasts. Let's dive in. We hope you enjoy this conversation. All right, Ali of Organic Traditions, welcome to the Prosperity Playground podcast. I'm so grateful you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we're going to dive right in, as I love to do. So you took the reins of a 25-year-old family legacy business and turned it into a modern wellness brand. I'm like so obsessed with the matcha. I haven't tried all your products, but I've seen them around for years. But the matcha, me and my kids are like obsessed.
Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that.
So good. So you turned it into an even more like modern wellness brand. You stepped in 2017. Take us back to that beginning, like really your beginning.
Yeah. Well, the beginning, I guess, is like a bit before 2017, because I had always been involved in the brand in the background, but not in a formal capacity and not in a leadership role. But I had watched my dad build this business for years and was sort of waiting for the right time. I think that if you've only ever worked in a family-led business, you may not be adding strategic value. You may not be able to see what needs to be changed or done differently to really grow. And so luckily I really waited till I felt like it was the right time for me to fully be in it. And 2017, the brand was in most grocery retailers, most health food stores across the country, but we didn't really have a big digital presence, and that was obviously scaling and growing really quickly. 2017 was like the peak juice cleanse era, Instagram, like a lot of recipe blogs were blowing up at that point, and I was like, this brand still has so much potential to be bigger than it is right now. And we really need to sort of level up the distribution and think about things from an omni-channel perspective. And so 2017, when I started, I think the first year or two was truly me like just whiteboarding like all the different ideas and ways that the company could grow. But the first thing I did was I sat down with every single existing employee and asked them, like, what's working really well?
Yeah.
What can we do better? Like, what are your ideas to help the company grow? And then it's just been a honestly like 9-year journey since then of growth and change, constant change. That's the only thing that's been the same.
Wow. Okay, so your dad built the beginnings. He founded this
Yeah.
brand, and I mean, he did a tremendous job. Like the brand is recognized across Canada. I mean, like you said, every single grocery store, your dream grocery retailers. And you're so right. I'm thinking 2017 is actually when I launched my product-based business, Love Powered Co., affirmation mindfulness company for kids and families. And it was the rise of the influencer. It
Yeah.
was the rise of like gifting and influencer marketing. And so I love how you clearly pinpointed like we have a huge opportunity in the DTC space. So was Organic Traditions active online or not really at that time?
Not really, like,
Okay.
weren't doing anything on social media, not partnering with influencers. We had like grown as a business just because of what it was when he started it, with like tons of grassroots. So we had a very loyal and engaged community, like at health food stores or at like wellness shows, like the Green Living Show, the Women's Show, like all that kind of stuff. But it really needed to be take that community and kind of let it be the social proof and like take things to the next level. So that wasn't in the marketing plan. There was no e-commerce presence in 2017. I stayed up till like 4 o'clock in the morning for like months on end building like the first iteration of our website at the time with
Oh my
developers
God.
overseas. And like when I look at that website now, I'm like, oh my God, that's so funny. But yeah, it was a totally different world, even though that wasn't that long ago at all. But it really was the peak, I think, of like unboxings and being able to build a brand online and be more authentic and all of that.
Absolutely. And I just love this story so much because what your father did was like, even early on in like the superfoods era, like you mentioned the green juice era, it wasn't a massive market. It wasn't something that we just naturally do like we do now. And then,
No, so oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, and then you taking it and just like bringing it e-commerce wise to the world. It's like just the perfect partnership and the perfect synergy. Like I love this story so much already.
He was really an early adopter.
Yes.
So the time was right in 2017, but like my dad was juicing and cold plunging and trying the vegan diet and the keto diet and like all of these things for years and years and years prior to it ever becoming mainstream. And that's sort of like the background to my childhood. Weekends were spent at a trade show or going to health food stores and like reading labels and like looking at CPG products, and like that was just always sort of in the background. But he really became passionate about this because he healed his own health through the use of superfoods. So like at our core, it's all about the products being like effective and actually working for people too, which I think you can come online and build a digital footprint, but you're not going to get like that repeat customer, like you love the matcha, unless things like taste good first and foremost,
Yes.
and they have to work. So
Exactly. Like, and just a side story. So we're in Mexico right now for the winter, and I ran out of the Organic Traditions matcha, which I'm waiting for my mom to bring to me in January. And now I had to switch brands, and it just doesn't do it, like
not
that
hitting.
warm and fuzz. I'm like, oh, okay, I need to get my fix. So my mom's bringing it
So
in January.
we can send you some. Just let me know.
I love that. Okay, and so your personal identity, like stepping into this, established Canadian brand, 2017, personally, like what are some mindset shifts, identity shifts that you really need to work on as the new leader of this company?
I think leading any business is hard. I think leading a family founded business has its own nuances and complexities. I used to really feel the need to like qualify, like nothing was given to me. I've worked the entire time for this. And if anyone thinks I was given like a Ferrari or like a Maserati of a business and just drove off into the sunset and started like leading it and it's glamorous, that is absolutely not the case. As much as there had been a really great foundation built, I've rebuilt the company from the inside out. It's like I was actually given a Honda Civic with an engine falling out of it that's like completely beat up, and I needed to take that and rework it. And I don't necessarily reference that as much anymore, but I used to like feel like that was important to qualify, and that's because I think I had a lot of imposter syndrome at the beginning.
Yeah.
Not that like this isn't where I'm meant to be or what I'm meant to be doing, but just the constant need to like prove that
Right.
you should be able to lead this company, right? And I think a lot of women or just people in leadership roles grapple with that more than they like to admit. And so mindset shifts has it's it's a constant work in progress, I think, to get away from that imposter syndrome. And the ways that I do that is like working with my own leadership coaches,
Yeah.
getting feedback from my team, like really validating for myself that you're doing it. The company's growing, like you're right where you need to be. But when you're at the top, it can be isolating. I don't have anyone that I'm reporting to formally. So I need those check-ins from external sources to sort of prove to myself and validate to myself like you're doing a great job. And that sounds silly, but like I think that's a really important mindset shift of like seeking that help and getting away from the imposter syndrome that might be like eating at you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I speak to so many female founders, and it is a common theme, and quote unquote, proving yourself and showcasing. But at the end of the day, you have the evidence to showcase of what has been created over the last 9 years since you really stepped in and brought it into the online space, especially.
Yeah, but also just to keep it like really real too, it's been just under 9 years, and the first 3 years I was just figuring everything out. Yes, we were making changes and constant improvements, but it was just a lot of like research and discovery and small tweaks and changes. The next 3 years, it was COVID, and that
Right.
brought a whole bunch of other complexities. And I also had two children back to back during 2020 and 2022. And um, people often see success as like they see the tip of the iceberg, you know? And it's only in the last 3 years that a ton of the decisions and changes and things that I've been working on and things that I've been implementing into the company from the day that I started have taken off and been shown as like tangible success. So we've
Right.
had 50% growth in the last 2 years, but there was a lot of years where we didn't have growth and we were just doing all the work internally. And it felt like, is this ever going to take off? And so, just like for anyone listening, nothing is what it seems. It always takes longer. Yes, there's stories out there, but that's usually not the norm for most people. The explosive growth, it's not impossible, but it's also not the typical story. And so this has been 9 years where it wasn't success from day one by any means. I had to try a lot of things. I had to put the right team in place. I had to build an ERP system. I had to streamline manufacturing. And so it's really come together in the last 3 years. Like I like to say that our company really feels like a startup that's stuck in an older company's body because we had that foundation and we have the history and the credibility, but that didn't, it's all come together now, just
Yes.
now.
You're seeing the evidence now. And I love that because I love to keep things real. And I think it's really important. And we do see the companies, especially in the online space, that are, 0 to 5 million in 2 years. And you're like, okay, what about my brand? It's not doing that. And so one is like, leave the comparisonitis on the side because
Yeah.
everyone has their own unique path, their unique trajectory, their unique story. And I feel like this is so valuable for anyone listening who either is in that skyrocket quantum leap or is more so, okay, I'm doing the things that my coach is saying, I'm doing the things that I intuitively feel are the strategic decisions, and I'm not yet seeing the evidence. It's like that longevity. We're here for the long term. We're creating legacy brands, right? This is important to stay on track and also to refine. Like if you're testing something and it's not working, you know when it's time to stop that and try something new. So I'd love to dive in. What are some of those decisions that you took 9 years ago that now you're seeing the evidence of?
Well, one of the biggest things that I did was at the time when I sort of stepped into leading the company formally, we were not only manufacturing and creating the Organic Traditions brand, but the business as a legacy business was importing, distributing, and selling other natural products. So
Okay.
other brands that are now big brands like New Chapter Vitamins, Garden of Life, Pukka Tea, and a number of others. And it was a business model that was never going to allow for Organic Traditions to be the primary focus and to grow the way that I knew it could.
Right.
And so I had to take the decision to scrap all the revenue that we were bringing in from these other brands and stop selling them in the Canadian market and in the US market, and say like, okay, our best shot at growth for Organic Traditions is realigning the entire team to our own brand, our own manufacturing, and that's what we did. And so we took losses over that decision, but it's now paid off that we're really disciplined, extremely streamlined. We've seen double digit growth every year since making that decision for Organic Traditions. So that would be one thing.
Wow.
And then the other thing is like putting the right people in the right roles at the right time. You can do everything as a founder. Like I've done every job in this business, but that's definitely not the best use of my time. And so getting really, really honest about where your strengths are and bringing in the right people to help move the rest of the business forward it's been a it's been a very explicit decision for me, but it's been one that's been on an ongoing basis from the day I started. And really in the last 2 years, it's been about like who are the right leaders that really see like bigger growth than what I could even imagine.
Wow. I love that. Was there one role that you kind of held on too tightly that maybe you had a really difficult time releasing?
Yeah, and it might be one that I'm honestly still need to release a little, and that's like the marketing department.
Okay.
I think that's like one of the most critical departments in a CPG company. They're all important, but I'm still finding that I need to remove myself from the marketing department still today. And
Wow.
so that's a work in progress for me.
Of course. Oh my goodness. Now, what about speaking product wise? So, under your brand, how many different product SKUs do you have?
When I came on, we had about 150 different SKUs. The
Wow.
focus was all about superfoods and adding superfoods to your daily life, helping that improve your nutrition. I've really pivoted our focus on proprietary blends, like creating things that are unique to us, where someone can just add water or like the matcha latte that you love, or they can add this superfood smoothie mix and they don't need like 10 different things in their pantry. So we've really pivoted the total portfolio from having a bunch of individual superfoods, like a lot, to having different blends. So whether it's like the mushroom coffees or the superfood lattes, smoothie mixes, greens blends, we're more so focused now on value added blends that make it really easy for people to get superfoods into their daily life, like in a way that really fits into their existing routines. So like don't just drink regular coffee, like have this superfood mushroom coffee instead. So cognizant of that, and we've trimmed the portfolio down and really like gotten more disciplined and focused. So now it's about 100. So we've cut a lot, and it's actually a priority for us to keep cutting and really focus on getting the word out about the things that are like our key priority.
Yeah, and it's such an interesting time and an interesting space. Like, obviously, we've seen such a boom in the online wellness space, right? And a lot of these online wellness brands, they're not in retail yet. because I'm sure you can share with us some of your tips and strategies for getting into retail, especially the big box ones like, oh my gosh, formerly Loblaws. I'm like, I've been in Mexico for too long, but like Whole Foods obviously is like the dream for most CPG wellness brands, but it's like so many right now. We've seen an influx DTC that yet are not even scratching, the surface of being in retailers. I have actually, so I want to share this. As I was preparing this interview, I want to share this publicly on the podcast, which I haven't done before, but behind the scenes, I am working on a pickleball brand, which is both experiences and wellness products. So I am curious, what advice would you give me if my goal, dream, desire is to pursue hydration? Now, hydration is like any space saturated, but if I wanted to manufacture in Canada, create this proprietary blend that fits under my pickleball umbrella, because I'm obsessed. Let's talk about pickleball in a second. What would be my first steps if that's what I wanted to take? So I've never been in the wellness space. I've actually sold supplements in the past, but to actually create a proprietary product. So I'm curious what you would suggest.
Well, like what I would suggest for getting the product created or just overall like the channel strategy.
Yeah, from the beginning. What are my steps, Allie?
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess if I were you, just based on what you've told me so far, I would probably find, in this case, a co-manufacturer to do formula development, probably a Canadian-based one that can do whatever their smallest MOQ is. It's minimum order quantity, and get that produced. I would then launch it, if I were you, to my community that's already really engaged with me and put it on Amazon and Shopify. I would go 100% digital first, just because that's going to have a lot less friction for you. And I would just see, is there product market fit for this? Does my community love it? Does it taste good? Am I getting good reviews? Because when a brand is thinking about going into like big doors of retail, there's a lot of cost associated with that, much more than people realize. Most grocery stores in Canada will charge anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000 per SKU as a listing fee or a slotting fee, just to get it on the shelf. And if it's not performing to their expectation, you'll be delisted, and that money's, you're never going to see it again. So I think people really need to be ready when they're thinking about going into full like retail distribution. Another way to test retail would be like partnering with cafes, gift shops, sort of like a smaller independent channel. Health food stores, they often don't have slotting fees, and it's more about telling your story and just like seeing that people love the products. So say like, based on everything you're telling me, I'd want that like online feedback first before investing dollars into a retailer. And the other thing that people need to know about working with big retailer is they're working on a timeline. Like some of them only review their sets, like what products are in each sort of category, once or twice a year, usually even just once a year. So if you've missed that timeline, you're now waiting like 9 or 10 months before they even look at it again. And then it could be multiple more months until it goes in. And in the meantime, you'll have to be building inventory for them and not sure if it's like go or no go. So I'd say for any brand starting out, like building a community and launching it to the community that you have, if you have one, and getting that fast feedback is probably the best way to double down and know if you should eventually pivot into retail, but it doesn't need to be the first way to go. And just overall, there's been a shift. Like it was really like e-com, just straight D2C was really, really, I'd say powerful between like 2017 and 2022.
Yes.
And then D2C kind of took a step back again, and it was more about retail. And now brands, I think, are realizing that the sweet spot is really, if you want to build a really big brand and really have that success, it's finding a way to be omni-channel profitably across both e-com and retail channels, and maybe even some like third-party channels as well. But you don't have to be everywhere at once when you're just getting going. You need to like prove that people want what you're putting out there, for sure.
Such hot tips. I actually completely forgot about those fees with specific like grocers in Canada, because when we were building Love Powered Co, we were at Indigo, we were, across boutiques in Canada, North America, but there were no fees involved. And so CPG firms have a whole other barrier. And also working with Health Canada is a whole other conversation.
Yeah, I guess we skipped that part, but you'll need to figure out if this is a natural product number, like registered product or not, or is it being sold as a grocery item? And are you able to make like health claims, or do you not want to make health claims? Stuff to think about. But yeah, people don't realize there's really expensive listing fees just to get your product on a shelf at a grocery store. And then you also need to partner with them to make sure that you're marketing and doing programs with them that gets the product moving. They call it velocities, like how many units per store per week are you able to sell, and they want to see a certain like health there.
Right.
And these marketing programs can be very expensive. It's often like 20% or more of like what you're doing with them revenue wise.
Wow, there's so many moving parts. And so is that a focus for you guys, or do you have enough brand awareness that it does just sell through, or do you have to put this into like strategic planning?
Product sells through. We have a lot of retail distribution in Canada. It's really strong. And in a lot of cases, we have sometimes 4 to 6 feet of shelf space, which in CPG is unheard of. But because we have just like a powerhouse portfolio and we're known as like the Superfoods brand, we have like all this retail shelf space. So it sells through, but what we've actually realized in the past year is like we want to create marketing programs with each retailer on our core segments so that we're delivering on that promise of like making superfood simple. We want it to be more clear to people when they're shopping these sets, like what they should be picking up and why. So it is a focus for us still today, even with our brand recognition. And I can tell you, like every tier one CPG brand, whether we're talking about like ketchup or macaroni, they are still spending money on that too, even with massive brand awareness.
Wow. So good to know. I mean, for me personally, I love walking into like a Nature's Fair or a Whole Foods and like testing, right? Like actually testing the product. And I think that's something that's, so simple and might feel like a, you know,
Oh, like
not
demoing?
yeah, like demoing.
Yeah.
It might feel like, oh, I don't want to invest time in this, but I think it's like right now, the consumers have a lot of decision power. There's so many products and competing products on the marketplace. So, like, let us taste, let us have that experience, and then you lock in a customer for life, like myself.
Yeah, it sounds so cheesy, but like I do say, when you try it, you buy it. Because if you believe in your product and you know it tastes good, when people like trying is believing. So it's so funny. I got off a call earlier today where we were talking about like what's the demo program for 2026 for this new product launch that we have. And it was like, I told them double it because
Love
I
it.
think that demos are really strong, and that shouldn't be overlooked as a strategy by any means.
I agree. It feels a little flea market. That's the word I was
It
using.
feels old school,
It
but
does.
it works. It
But it
works.
works. And I think that's something a lot of founders are realizing is like, okay, let's go back to the old school strategies that are proven, tested, and they work, as demoing being one of them.
And then bring in the new school of like, now I'm going to geo target you and my ad's going to follow you around 7 times so that if you didn't buy it in the store today, you're going to buy it next time, or you're not going to forget about me. Like, let's blend the strategy.
I love that. So moving into that, what are some marketing strategies that you are zoning in on for 2026?
Like we talked about, definitely like large scale sampling. We do have a new product launching soon that is in a stick pack format as opposed to like the larger pouch. So we're excited that we'll be able to just like on a mass scale hand that out. We like to align with a lot of different events, things that are happening in the community, and get product into people's hands. And then we do have a really strong focus for our core segments, working with the Loblaws of the world or Whole Foods and our lattes and our mushroom coffee. So shopper marketing programs, as well as digital. More of storytelling and education is really the focus for 2026. I think with the products that have been out there for a while, we want to anchor people in like why ours are so efficacious, why ours have such great quality, that they always taste good, and sort of bringing it back to basics when it comes to things like that.
I love that. And also your story. Like, I feel the forward facing founders, sometimes it's not what founders want to do, but the brands that I'm seeing really thriving is there's that connection and that relationship with the founder behind the brand. So, and you have such a powerful story.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm still trying to find my balance with that. I don't think I'm the founder that wants to be posting every single day, everything that I'm doing and every behind the scenes moment. And does everyone really need to see me cry at 2 o'clock in the morning if that's happening? Like, I don't think I'm that founder, but I do love to share my story and give the brand the credibility that it deserves. That like there's real people behind this, there's a real family and a real story behind this. And I'm a mom of 2 young kids, and I'm truly leading the business full time, but there is ROI in getting out there as a founder, and I see that. So I'm just trying to find like a healthy balance, because I think it also can take over your mental health too much into the founder-led content at the same time.
Absolutely. I mean, you have the brand equity, just the brand itself. And I feel, for you, just seeing you on some stages throughout the year, seeing some of the behind the scenes that you're working on, it doesn't have to be all consuming, because yeah, there needs to be a beautiful blend. So how are you doing it in terms of balancing the motherhood and doing it the way that feels good for you with leading this company in growth mode? What's been some I guess, tactical ways that you've implemented that have really supported you?
I'd say like it's a blend of ruthless prioritization and being obsessed with my calendar. I am so type A. I live by my calendar. I have it blocked for family time. I have it blocked for thinking time. I have the days that I do one-on-ones different from the days that I do something like this or external calls. Like, I'm really a nerd when it comes to my calendar. And then I'm also trying to give myself grace and know that I feel a lot of pressure when I'm with my kids, and then all of a sudden I think about work and I get like almost mad at myself that I'm not being present, but I'm really doing the best that I can. And I think that because I'm a high achieving person in general, as a parent, as a business owner, as someone who wants to be healthy and strong for myself, like I need to give myself a break. So it's the ruthless prioritization blended with like the softer side of just like you're already overachieving, so like you need to chill out and let it go.
Oh, I have goosebumps. It's so true, because we want it all. And yes, we get to have it all, but it has to feel good in the process. I think that's that's the secret to success, is like just enjoy each moment. Like each moment you're with your kiddos, just fully being there and enjoying it, right? Because our mind can wander, and it does, especially when you're in growth mode. Like, we get it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really, Jillian Harris was talking about her calendar and how devoted and dedicated she is to that scheduling, and how chaotic it was when she wasn't. And so, yeah, I think.
Yeah. Obsessed with my calendar. And do you follow Emma Greed? Do you know
Yeah.
who that is? Yeah, so they ask her in like every podcast, basically, like, oh, how do you juggle motherhood? Like, she has 4 kids, she runs Skims, Good American, I think a bunch of other brands, and she's always like, I'm not everywhere at the same time. There's trade-offs, and nothing is perfect, and people think everything is perfect, and it's not. And you're not going to be everywhere at once, and you have to just like settle into that. So I think it's great advice. Definitely respect her. And I'm just trying to always remind myself of that. And then I have a lot of help too.
Yes.
So I can't sit here and pretend that I don't. Have really, really, my husband and I work together. He's our director of operations, and we're 100% in parenthood and in business together, and have an understanding about that. And then we have great support from parents and a full-time nanny, and that can't be understated, because I wouldn't even be here talking to you right now if that wasn't the case.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I had another guest on, and we talked about Actually, it was Renee Warren who was saying, become rich for these reasons because look, you're employing someone who now gets to have work, who gets to support you so that you can be in your zone of genius. And, there's this sometimes, I guess, I don't know what the word is, it's not coming through, but when we talk about wealth and money, and it's like, allow yourself to be wealthy because look at the ripple that you get to create out into the world. And there's no, guilt around that. It's like, that you have loving support and you get to be fully present with your kiddos and you get to have impact on the world. I'm like, the more wealth in the hands of women who are heart-led and conscious, like, I think that's the era that we're in.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, I love that.
Oh my gosh. Is there anything you'd love to add before we move into some rapid fire?
No, let's go to rapid fire.
Okay, amazing. So, Allie, your future self 20 years from today, what message is she sharing with you in this very moment?
Just keep going. Don't give up.
Amazing. One product every founder should try from Organic Traditions.
Focus fuel, because you need to have boosted mental clarity, memory, focus. It's the perfect like midday, just like trigger to just keep in flow state, keep working, keep going.
You gifted that one for the VIP swag bags at High Vibe Women alongside the matcha, and it is so good. I forgot I've tried that one
Oh,
too.
you got it. Okay,
Yeah.
amazing.
So good.
Good.
Another great strategy is being in the right gift bags because again,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
And I
works.
see that as like, that's a form of community sampling, and like we're aligned with what they're all about. And I'm like, this is our kind of, demographic. Like, of course we say yes to stuff like that. We love that.
So good. Most underrated wellness superfood.
Ooh, I would probably say like acacia fiber or chia and flax. Like, everyone's obsessed with protein, but fiber is really going to be protein 2.0, mark my words. And everybody needs more fiber. 95% of people don't get enough fiber. So anything you can add in, this is a superfood. This is like 100% natural, gentle on your tummy. Like, this really works.
Oh my gosh, maybe I do like hydration and fiber together in one.
You never know. Back to work.
Oh my gosh. Okay, if you had to rebuild Organic Traditions from scratch today, but you know what you know, and especially the experience you bring from the last 9 years, what's the first move you'd make?
Ooh, I love that question. Oh my God. There's so many moves I'd make in one foul swoop, but yeah, probably hiring a leadership team and just like getting to work with them.
Amazing. Do you play pickleball?
I've only played one time
Okay,
and I loved it.
okay. Well, we got to get you out to play. I'm going to start hosting pickle and pitch networking events with pickleball. So I'm going to invite you to the next one in Burlington. Would love to have you.
Okay, fun. I would love that.
And finally, what is your definition of prosperity?
I think my definition of prosperity is just having an optimization mindset. It's like leveling up 1%, whether it's mentally, physically, or emotionally every day. Like, being prosperous to me is being able to invest in yourself and continuing to like continuous improvement for yourself. And then that has an impact on everything and everyone around you. So it's about really just consistently leveling up.
Oh, so good. I was journaling this morning, and the question at the top was, how do I want to feel? And it was exactly that. I want to feel like I'm constantly growing and evolving. And it doesn't have to be 10xing each time. It's like that 1% incremental growth. Like, it feels so good.
Yeah, I love that. And what's the alternative? You just stay the same. So 1% is better than nothing. Like, just keep it moving.
So good. Where can we find you and where can we find the products?
Our products are pretty much in every grocery store and health food store across Canada, at organictraditions.com, on Amazon, and our socials are all just at Organic Traditions, and I'm at Ali Zeifman. I'll send you the
Amazing.
spelling.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time, your wisdom, your generosity, and I look forward to meeting you again.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining me on today's episode of the Prosperity Playground podcast. If this conversation sparked something in you, be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts so you never miss your weekly activation. If you enjoyed the conversation, please rate and review. Your feedback helps us reach more souls just like you who are ready to calibrate to their most prosperous life. Know someone who needs this frequency boost? Share the episode to Instagram and tag me at _Anna Lozano so we can grow our energetically aligned community together. And please remember, true prosperity is about alignment, freedom, expansion, and embodying your worth. Start today. I'm Anna Lozano, and this is the Prosperity Playground. See you on the next activation.